Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Baba Bagede Imo TV. I am Mori Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the world news. Osun Tribunal removes Adeleke as governor. And on his own verdict, Adeleke rejects tribunal verdicts, heads to appeal court. Why FG could not track terrorists, bandits, kidnappers' phones. 2023 elections, foreign hackers attacking our database, INEC chairman. 70% of Nigerians still patronize herbal medicines, NMDA. NLC writes Buhari, CBN to extend old Naira notes deadline. Lagos, Ogun gets new commissioners of police. To the next four stories, motorcycle thief caught in action by Osun Amotekun operatives. Delta, woman bite off another woman's breast in bloody fuel queue fights. And to foreign, South African authorities invade Nigerian consulate, citizens angered. Finally on spot between two Nigerians plying their trade in Syria. Lukman vows to beat Osun to top scorer award. Now the news in detail. The Osun State Governorship Electoral Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Osogbo has obtained the victory of Governor Ademola Adeleke at the July 16, 2022 governorship polls. Adegboyega Oyetola of the All Progressive Congress APC had petitioned the victory of Adeleke of the People's Democratic Party PDP on two grounds of overvoting and certificate forgery. The tribunal, led by Justice Tase Kume, in delivering its judgments, held at all documents by the petition Oyetola are valid and legitimate, and the motion to reject them by Adeleke has been dismissed. It also held that Governor Ademola Adeleke is academically qualified to contest as Osun governor. The tribunal, while noting that APC's claim of overvoting was not complete, agreed that there was evidence of overvoting in the July 16 governor election. After deducting invalid votes due to overvoting, Adegboyega Oyetola scored 314,931, while Governor Ademola Adeleke scored 290,666, the tribunal held. The tribunal therefore ruled that Governor Ademola Adeleke was not validly elected. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has been ordered to withdraw Adeleke's certificate of return of the court at the Court of Appeal. Reacting to the verdict of the tribunal in a statement issued by his spokesperson Rashid Olawale, Governor Adeleke faulted the resolution of the overvoting question in favor of Mr. Oyetola, calling it an unfair interpretation against the will of majority of voters. While urging his supporters to remain calm, Governor Adeleke vowed to appeal the judgment at the Court of Appeal, insisting he remains the rightful winner of the July 16th election. I call on our people to remain calm. We will appeal the judgment and we are sure justice will be done. Let our people be reassured that we will do everything possible to retain this widely acclaimed mandate, Governor Adeleke declared. Welcome back. Issa Pentami, Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, has revealed while the federal government is unable to track phones used by terrorists, bandits, and kidnappers who contact victims' families for money payment and negotiations within Nigeria, has learned that at the 19th edition of the President Muhammadu Buhari PMB Administration Scorecard Series 2015 to 2023, held in Abuja yesterday, the minister spoke about the failure to apprehend criminal elements despite the initiative that required all citizens to have their national identification number name linked to their phone cards. Pentami responded to critical issues by stating that it falls under cybercrime. Cybercrime is under the Office of the National Security Advisor and other security institutions. Our role in cybersecurity is to ensure we minimize the possibility of a criminal deploying technology to commit a crime, so our work is proactive. At the same time, if the crime is committed and our intervention is required officially, then we will intervene. So here we need to reintroduce the national NIN, NIN, and civil registrations when it comes to minimizing the probability of criminals committing a crime. 2. We enforce the NIN registration. NIN registration is by our law in Nigeria. NIN is mandatory for all citizens. Speaking further about his ministry's accomplishment in recent years, the minister stated that at least 66 attempts by European hackers to hack into the virtual meetings of the Federal Executive Council (FEC) were foiled. Pantami stated that all cases were reported to the appropriate authorities for documentation and action. The minister stated that since the national policy on virtual engagement for federal public institutions was established in October 2020 to formalize online government meetings, including those of the FEC and the Council of State, 108 virtual federal cabinet meetings have taken place. To the next story as regards 2023 election. Ahead of the 2023 general election, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has raised the alarm of attempt by foreign hackers to break into the Commission's database. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu disclosed this in Abuja on Thursday at the annual National Conference of the National Association of Judiciary Correspondents (NAJUC) with the theme 2023 General Elections, Judiciary and Sustainability of Nigeria's Democracy. Yakubu, who was represented by the Deputy Director of ICT, Dr. Lawrence Bayode, explained that the attacks are from different parts of the world, not just Nigeria. We were looking at the system on Wednesday, 25th of January, and we were seeing that people were trying to come into the system from France, but we are also putting some things in place. You cannot build a house without putting a door, burglary, or window. We have done our best to ensure that our system is secure, he said. Speaking further, he assured that the result viewing portal, IREV, and the back end are well secured to prevent any attack. Information gathered. To the next story. The Nigerian National Natural Medicine Development Agency, NNMDA, said that 70% of Nigerians still patronize herbal medicines, saying that it is as old as mankind. Dr. Samuel Etetuve, Director General of NNMDA, in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, in Abuja, said it is not undermining the practice of orthodox medicines. The man said that part of their mandate was to research, collect, document on herbal products that were indigenous, and they are already a research of 14 of such products. The DG added that 5 of the products had been listed by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, while the rest are waiting. Natural medicine practice is as old as mankind. The orthodox medicine came several decades after natural medicine, which is mainly being practiced in rural communities. Today in Nigeria and across the world, both natural and orthodox medicines are being practiced concurrently. In Nigeria specifically, I can say that we have more than 70% of Nigerians that patronize natural medicine practitioners because our rural areas do not have modern health care facilities. To the next story. And in case you're just joining, you are watching the world news from BGI TV. The national president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Ayuba Waba, on Thursday said the organized labor had written to President Muhammadu Buhari and the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, demanded a review of the policy and an extension of the deadline. The labor leader also said the new Naira policy was inflicting pain on Nigerians and this would force the masses to react very soon. Speaking in an interview with selected journalists in Abuja, Waba, who is set to step aside as the national leader of the body, also decried the non-availability of the new Naira note. The union leader noted that although the rich were targeted by the policy, the poor people were suffering more from it. He said, "We have tried to respond officially by writing to the CBN governor. We also wrote to the president to say that this new policy of changing our Naira needs to be revisited. And it is obvious that even in the city centers, they are still dispensing old notes I remember I went to about 10 banks and none was actually dispensing the new notes. So the new notes are not available. They are not in circulation and the old notes are being rejected. They are pushing people to the wall and very soon people will react. Importantly, even in the city centers where we have banks, the banks are not dispensing the new Naira notes. Going on to the next story. The commissioners of police in Ogun and Lagos states, Lanre Bankole and Abiodun Alabi, have been promoted to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police. The duo of Bankole and Alabi have been replaced, information learned. A source hinted that the replacement of Bankole, who was handling the recent killing of a couple, Kehinde and Bukola Fetinoye, on the New Year Day was due to his promotion. It was also gathered that Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba had recommended Frank Mba and Idowu Omonwa to the Police Service Commission for the Office of Commissioners of Police, Ogun and Lagos Commands respectively. Information further gathered that recommendations were yet to be approved by the PSC. The incumbent CPs of Ogun and Lagos Commands are due for promotion to the Office of the Assistant Inspector General of Police. The source said it is true that Mba and Omonwa were officially recommended to the PSC as CPs for Ogun and Lagos respectively. Mba, a former Force Public Relations Officer and Lagos PPRO, is currently the CP in charge of the Border Patrol Force Headquarters, Abuja, prior to the IG's recommendation. Still at the Southwest stories, a 25-year-old man identified as Adebowale has been apprehended by operatives of Osun Amotekun Corps for theft of a motorcycle. The motorcycle, the security outfit disclosed, it's the property of a resident of Aratumi community, Kelebe area, Osogbo. The Osun Amotekun Corps commander, Brigadier General Bashir Adewimbi, said Adebowale was arrested by personnel of the security outfit during a routine patrol after he committed the act around 1 a.m. on Wednesday. Brigadier General retired Adewimbi, while confirming the arrest in Osogbo on Wednesday, disclosed that Adewale was arrested after stealing a TVC motorcycle at Aratumi community, Kelebe area of Osogbo. It was in the course of carting away the motorcycle that the men of Amotekun who were on routine patrol saw him and apprehended the culprit. Upon interrogation, the culprit confessed to the crime. He has been transferred to the police for subsequent interrogation and investigation. Adewimbi also warned the criminal element to stay out of Osun. Amotekun is ready to expose criminals in their hiding places, Adewimbi asserted. He urged the residents to reveal criminals in their neighborhood to the Amotekun Corps to curb crime in society. From Southwest to South-South, a woman has reportedly beaten the breast of another woman during a fight at a petrol station in Delta States. The women were reportedly fighting over positions in the fuel queue. Both women are said to be black market fuel dealers in Warri, struggling for the product to sell, information learned. The action took place with intervention of other customers at the filling station to separate the women who were engaged in a fisticuff. One of the women who was beaten on her breast was left bleeding furiously even after the fight had been separated. Correspondents learned that around town to monitor the situation at fuel stations reported that most vendors in Warri and everyone were still selling the product at 500 naira per litre. Transportation has also increased, with many of the transporters charging outrageous amounts with the demand that they are paid with new naira notes to avoid the January 31st deadline by the Central Bank of Nigeria. At the time of filing this report, virtually all roads were empty, with little or no vehicles plying them due to the hike in petrol. To foreign story. The Nigerian Citizens Association South Africa has flagged invasion of Nigeria Consulate General premises in Johannesburg by City Power and Johannesburg Metro Police. NICASA Central General Karim Tunde disclosed these in a statement against the backdrop of the association's reaction to invasion of Nigeria Consulate by South African authorities. Tunde said, "We wish to express our stance on the issue involving the Consulate General in Johannesburg and the City Power in the place. We condemn the unwarranted actions by the City Power and the police cohort on the property of the Consulate of Nigeria. It is clear that City Power was out to embarrass and humiliate Nigeria and Nigerian citizens in the place. There cannot be any plausible excuse to warrant the invasion to Nigeria Consulate General. The action is very retrogressive, xenophobic, and avoidable. Lastly, on the world news is a sports story. Ademola Lookman is determined to beat his compatriot Victor Osimhen to the top scorers award in Serie A this season. No African player has claimed the honor in the annals of the Italian top flights. Osimhen and Lookman currently occupy first and second position on the chart. Napoli forward Osimhen has netted 13 times in 15 league appearances. Lookman, on the other hand, has scored 11 goals in 18 outings for Atlanta. The 25-year-old is, however, confident he can turn the table against his international teammates. I used to think about the future. You can get caught up in the future, and the future will always come. But the now is the most important, Lookman told the Athletic. Now, not when Osimhen is above you. Anyway, I will catch him. Not a mite, but I will. The duo will be in action for their respective clubs this weekend. That ends the world news this hour from BGI TV. Before we go, some major headlines. Osun Tribunal removes Adeleke as governor. We also brought to you Adeleke reject tribunal verdict head to appeal courts. YFG could not track terrorists, bandits, kidnappers' phones. We also brought to you foreign hackers attacking our database. INEC chairman cries out. And finally, Lookman vows to beat Osimhen to top scorer award. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Bababagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22. For other placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawa. Good evening. Jumat Mofida to all faithful Muslims around the world.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you are one in a million.